Hi, it's Belinda here with our parenting Q&A, and today's question is, how should I react when they prefer things that are different from what we as parents like or are used to? Well, it really does depend on what age we're talking about, because though we lump all teenagers together, there's a really big difference in how we react and relate to and have expectations on a 13-year-old, a 16-year-old, and an 18-year-old. So the first thing we need to decide is this issue something that they can have choice over, or is it something that's still a parental choice thing? So if it's something that's their choice, if they've become old enough, mature enough, and that they are self-governing in that particular area, then it may be something we just need to tweak our reactions to. We have to be able to let go, because they will start making choices and having preferences of things that are different to us. They are different people than we are. They are in a different era than what we grew up in and what we parented in. And they will see the world differently. Now, that doesn't mean we can't still talk to them and have conversations about it, but if they reach a place of maturity in that particular sphere of life, and we give them responsibility for that sphere of their life, then we have to be very careful in our reactions to that. But if it isn't their sphere of responsibility and it is still a parental issue, then we will have to communicate that with them. Just because they're growing up as teens doesn't mean that we still don't have final say in some areas of life. And it's a gradual transition into being a mature, responsible, self-governing young adult. And so we just need to think that through, who's got the responsibility in this sphere. Another thing that we can do is just check ourselves, because sometimes we are holding on to things that we've always done. We might think that it's a conviction, a rule, something that will never change. But as our kids get older, we find that, this really isn't something worth dying on. Maybe it's a guideline, maybe it's a principle appropriate for certain circumstances, but not all circumstances. So we just need to show our teen that we are prepared to consider things. We are prepared to hear what they have to say and reflect on our choices as a parent. I remember Naomi coming to us once, and she had a short list of movies that she felt she was old enough to watch and that we had previously said no to. And she outlaid her reasoning, and she did it very, very respectfully. And when she left, Peter and I looked at each other and we said, well, she's right. We have not moved on with her maturity, and we haven't taken her interests into account. And so she was allowed to watch those movies. And that was a little bit of a wake-up call, really, as our younger two came into the teen years, into the middle teen years. So the next thing that we can do is actually get to know our teen and talk to them about it. And don't be defensive or just react, but ask them questions. Don't be suspicious. Just listen to them with an open heart. See where they're at. See why these choices are important to them. See how they see the world and what they really think about it. And when they start talking to you, but in answering your questions, if you can come at it from a conversational perspective, then you can take away something and you can start being more aware of it. You can be praying about it, and you can be ready to talk into that situation, not coming down, setting the rule, but rather just talking and having conversations about life, about choices and consequences of those choices. One of the questions you can ask them is, if you see that there's a fairly major consequence, ask them, have you thought about any consequences of that choice? How are you going to handle that? And look, in the end, when it comes to our older teens, we don't have to like all the choices that they are making. And we probably won't like all the choices that they are making, because they are different people than us and they will make choices different to us. But if we can always see through to the principle behind something that we are holding on to, is it a conviction or is it a preference? Is it something to die for, or is it something that we think is the best? And the thing that we do have to do, though, is love them. Unconditional love. And that can be hard sometimes, but that's where the bottom line is. Unconditional love and relationship with our teens as they get older. So there is one parenting strategy that I'd like to share, though, in this situation, is the best thing that you can learn is to put on a I'm not shocked or surprised face as you listen to them talk about what they believe and what they are choosing. When we put on this face, it's not a face that withdraws from them. It's just a non-reacting face. It's a face that's actually showing I'm listening to you. And when we can put on this face, it gives our heart, or it gives our reactions time to catch up to our heart. Our heart is to love our teen and to have a relationship with our teen, and sometimes our reactions get in the way. So practice it and be ready to use it, and guard your relationships by listening to your teen and understanding where they're coming from. But don't give up when it's appropriate, that you still do have a voice in the situation. I'll catch you later. Bye.